Hello, everyone. My name is Professor Dashiell, and this is the Italy/Ghana trip interest meeting on Zoom. So for those of you all who do not know me, I am a college professor. I have been teaching really since 2007, but I became a college professor in 2013. Even back when I taught high school, I always thought that studying abroad or just traveling the world in general was important. And for me, growing up in PG County, Maryland, it's, a Black county, and unfortunately, our school system leaves much to be desired. We just were not afforded those types of opportunities, and it was very frustrating to see people near us, in Virginia and Montgomery County have opportunities that we didn't have. So I said, I'm tired of waiting around for other people to give us opportunities. I'm going to create opportunities myself. So 2012, I took 5 students over to Italy and Greece for 10 days, like the crazy person that I am. We had an absolute blast. And that is why we're going back to Italy, because we had such a good time the first time. And then this past May 2022, I took 2 students over to Paris, France. It was more, but COVID and the pandemic, and people had to pull out and stuff. They had bills to pay and stuff. But we went to Paris, France for 7 days, had a blast, and now I am planning the June 2023 trip to Italy and the June 2024 trip to Ghana. So I'm going to talk about both trips in this meeting, even though, the Italy trip is coming up quickest. But once again, if you all have questions at any point, put them in the chat so I can make sure that I'm addressing any of the questions and concerns that you all have. I'm gonna try to only keep y'all for 30 minutes or less, because I know it's dinner time and we have other things to do, and I respect everyone's time. So let me pull up this PowerPoint so we can jump into it. We're going to talk about, we already briefly started talking about my travel story, where and when we're going. We're going to talk about safety, protection, details. We're going to talk about money. I know that's the number one question. How much is all of this going to cost? And we're going to talk about how to enroll on the trip. So once again, my name is Professor Dashiell. I am a college English teacher, not studying, but traveling abroad or visiting other countries and learning about other cultures is absolutely important to me. I believe everybody should have the opportunity to travel and see the world. So like I said, Italy and Greece, we visited there in 2012, and in Paris, we did a trip to 2022. If you want more information in general about me, then you can go to professordashiell.com. I also have a study abroad tab there in case you want the direct links to signing up for the trips and those types of things. So these are a couple of pictures from our previous trips. Remember, I told you we went to Italy and Greece in 2012. So these are the students I went with. This was us. I think this was us when we came back from the trip. We were tired. Okay. When I say, I don't think we slept more than 12 hours total the whole time we were there. We had such a good time. But these were my high school students that went with me. And according to them, the trip absolutely changed their life. It changed the way they looked at life. And all of them are very, very successful in their own right. This was my favorite part of our 2012 Italy trip, the gelato. And for those of you all who do not know me, I am hashtag fat girl for life. Food motivates my entire existence. So I'm going back just so I can get the gelato. I had it like twice a day. I think I'll have it 3 times a day this time. This is when we went to Rome. And then these 2 pictures on the bottom right are from our most recent trip. These are 2 college students that went with me to Paris, France. And yes, that is us posing in front of the Mona Lisa and the Eiffel Tower. We got to see all of the sights. We got to eat all of the good food. It was amazing. And I want to share these experiences with more people. So I'm not going to read everything on the slide, because you know what? I can actually put this slide in the chat. Let me do it right now. Let me save, and let me put this in the chat for the people who are on the call. That way you can download it to your device and have it at your disposal. Those who are watching the recording, I will put the link to this in the description, in the YouTube description. Okay. All right. So back to where I was. So I'm not going to read every single thing on the slide because you all can read, on your own. But why study abroad? There are tons of reasons. I mean, number one, because it's great, but they have provided, the tour company has provided some statistics just to kind of give you insight into how these types of trips really can make a difference in your lives, okay? Students, obviously, when you see the world, when you see all of the opportunities that you have to choose from, it definitely increases your motivation. It makes you more serious. You get a real life view of, oh my goodness, I'm not just competing with students in America, I'm competing with students worldwide, and I want to be a competitor. So a lot of students, really see an increase in motivation after traveling abroad. Obviously, it looks good on your resume. They've given statistics about, job security and salary and all of those. So I'll let you read that at your own convenience. Development of critical skills, international exposure, and obviously any trip with Professor Dashiell is going to be a trip of a lifetime because I'm just a little bit crazy. I love to have a good time. And I mean, it's just a wonderful opportunity. So the Italy trip is called A Taste of Italy. So this trip is all about Italian food and wine. If I'm not mistaken, the drinking age in Italy is 15 and older if you want to be able to order drinks in a restaurant. So I think for these trips, you have to be 16 and up anyway. So those who are going on the trip and you're only 17, you're only 18, you're only 19, you're only 20, you're not the American drinking age. Listen, we'll have a conversation about drinking responsibly, and I'll probably be right there next to you taking shots. But I figured if we're there in the culture, let's experience the culture the way the culture is supposed to be experienced. So we will be having wine tastings. We will be going to cooking classes. We will be doing all of those things. So if you want to go to the website where you can actually register, skip verification, you'll click that. And notice here you have two options. You could click stay in the loop. That's for people who are really interested in going, but you're not quite ready to make that commitment yet. Just click stay in the loop and it'll just ask you for your contact information so that if I send any future emails or set any future meetings, you'll get that information. But if you're like, listen, I'm broke as a joke, but I don't know how, I don't care, I'm going to go on this trip some way, somehow. You're going to click that pink enroll button. And let me explain this to you really quickly, okay? EF always says you only need $95 down to secure your spot. And that's true. But what they're not fully disclosing is that global protection is a part of the package that your price covers. And global protection basically is insurance. So if you lose a wallet or if you have a medical emergency, you're covered. They make you pay that global protection fee up front, which if I'm not mistaken is about $150. Now, if you don't want the global protection fee, if you're like, oh, I have my own insurance, I'm good, I don't need all of that, then yes, $95 is all you need to basically secure your spot and your price, because the price does go up the closer we go to this trip. So I want you all to think about that, because if you're like, I really want to go, but I'm not sure. Okay, it's September 2022. And until the 30th, there's a $100 discount, right? So let's say the trip is, you know what, let's skip ahead in the PowerPoint because I don't want to guesstimate. Where is it at? Okay. So let's say the trip is, okay. So let's say this trip is $4,104 as of September 2022. If you wait until December to sign up, that might be $4,404 or $4,504. So I really want to stress to you that if you want to lock in this low rate, technically speaking, all you need is $95 down to do that. But with the global protection, we'll say around just set aside $250 so you can go ahead and knock that out the way. Now, once you have secured your spot, you paid your $95, or if you want the global protection too, you paid your $250, right? Let's say you're like, listen, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I don't know, but it's just a mustard seed faith. I'm just going to take a leap. You don't have to sign up for the payment plan. You can sign up for the option that says you'll pay as you go or something like that. And when Christmas comes around and people ask you what you want, tell them donate towards my trip or give me money. When tax season comes around, use your tax return to put it towards your trip, or those types of things. So this is a 10-day trip. And these are all of the places, the solid lines are all of the places we are going to visit. So we'll be flying into Milan, then we're going to Parma, Bologna, Florence, we're going to San Miniato, Liguria region, I'm probably saying all of these wrong, Cuneo region, Turin, and then we're going back to Milan to fly out. As you can see, there's a dotted line here. So I remember somebody on TikTok was like, oh, I really want to go to Rome. Well, Rome is not a part of the 10-day trip. But if you wanted to stay for an extension, you do have the option of obviously paying a little bit more money to stay an extra day or two and go visit Rome. I have been to Rome. It is beautiful, absolutely amazing. So I do not think that it would be a waste. But just know that Rome is not a part of the 10-day trip that that we're signing up for, but you can add it on as an extension. All right, so what else do we have here that you all would want to know? Once again, feel free to put questions in the chat. I see somebody says, do you have to be a student to go on this trip? Absolutely not. My trips are for anybody and everybody who wants to travel and who wants to learn about other cultures. So if you have a cousin, a best friend, an auntie, an uncle, bae. Now listen, if y'all relationship is rocky right now, maybe you might want to hold off on bae, because we want to make sure y'all are still together, because that's going to be a little awkward if they pay their money and you pay your money and then y'all break up and then y'all both looking at each other on the trip. But then again, I don't know, maybe you'll rekindle some things. I don't know. Okay, let me focus. So yes, the trips are for anybody and everybody, and feel free to use reactions, give me thumbs up, use emojis, type in the chat. Somebody said, will you be staying along for the extra portion to Rome? I had not planned on it, but I'm flexible. So if I find out, so far 8 people are signed up to go on the trip and none of them have shown any interest in doing the extension. But in the event, let's say 3 or 4 people are like, yes, I want to stay longer. I want to go to Rome. I'll absolutely stay. That's what I have babysitters for. Okay. All right. So as you can see, the price is about $4,104. I am not a saleswoman. I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't. But just hear me out. Okay. Everybody who signs up, like officially signs up for the trip, like you put your $95 down or your $95 and your global protection fee down. So you are registered to go. You locked in your rate. Everyone who signs up for the trip gets a free donation website. So I'm going to show you one of my students' sites. Get verification. Okay, this is what her site looks like. So yours is going to look exactly the same. It's going to have your name. It's going to have fundraising. It's going to have the name of the tour we're going on. And it has a map and a couple pictures. And it basically says, you know, donate. It tells the people how many days we have until the trip leaves, and they can click the button to make a contribution. As you can see, when she first created this site, she owed $4,610. And I think the reason hers is so high is because her daughter is going with her and they're doing a double. They're getting a double room. So let me explain that really quickly. If you are 29 or under, then you're automatically going to be put in a triple or a quadruple room, but everybody has their own bed. Now, if you know people who are going on the trip, yes, we can make them your roommates. Or if you're open to meeting new people, making new friends, then we can room you with somebody who you will get to know and become very close friends with. Honestly speaking, I wouldn't spend extra to get a double, because we're not going to be in our rooms like that anyway. We're going to be out and about. We're going to be living our best lives. So I wouldn't stress so much about the rooming situation. But if you're like, for whatever reason, I want to have a double because I don't want all them broads up in my room, then yes, that would be extra money. So I think her price is that price because she has a double. All right, going back to her site. Ooh, where is her site? I lost it that fast. It must be over here. Here it is. Okay. So notice how her goal was $4,610. And she's now down to $4,445. Okay, this happened just from me posting one time on TikTok, just one post. Okay, just willy-nilly, spur of the moment. So obviously, over the next few weeks, over the next few months, we'll keep sending that link out so she can get more and more donations for her trip. Like I said, the closer we get to our trip, the more it's going to be. So this is the link again, if you want to go ahead and lock in your rate soon. I would say by September 30th, try to put that $95 if you're not going to do the global protection fee, or that $250 or $255, I think, if you're going to do the global protection fee. Once again, it's $100 off. So really this is $4,004 for the trip. All right, so let's talk about what's included in that 4 Gs. All right, that 4 Gs includes round trip airfare. Okay, and yes, the planes come with plugs, so you can bring your laptops and your tablets and your phones and keep them charged. And I don't think the Wi-Fi is free. You'll probably have to pay for the Wi-Fi, but last time I just paid for it, and the girls just tethered from my signal. So, you know, we'll work it out. You know, we know how to bootleg some stuff. But it covers round trip airfare, and yes, there are plugs on the plane, and you will also be fed a meal or meals depending on how long the flight is. Okay, so if we're doing a nighttime flight, they'll feed you dinner. If it's during the day, they'll feed you lunch. If it's in the morning, they'll feed you breakfast, et cetera, et cetera. So that $4,000 covers round trip airfare. It covers hotels every day. We're going to have a 24/7 tour guide. Okay, so you don't have to worry about getting on Yelp and Travelocity and trying to figure out what all the hot spots are. We're going to have an on-demand tour guide that can tell us where to go, where all the hot spots are, and that guides us and leads us everywhere. It also covers any transportation while we are on the trip. So when we did the Italy-Greece trip back in 2012, we had to take a boat from Italy to Greece, or a ship. It was a ship. We had to take a ship, an overnight ship. We got to sleep overnight on a ship from Italy to Greece. Or if we have to take the train or the metro, or if we're taking a charter bus somewhere, it covers all of those transportation costs. It covers costs to all of the sites that we're going to be seeing, any museums and all of that. It covers breakfast every day and some dinners. Normally it's dinner on the first night and dinner on the last night. All the other dinners and lunches we would have to cover on our own. It covers 24/7 emergency support. Once again, if you get the global protection, then it also covers the insurance and all of that. All right, questions. What's the global protection? So global protection is basically their insurance plan. So if your wallet gets stolen, they'll replace it along with whatever was in the wallet. You know, if your luggage is lost, then I think they reimburse you up to $150 if you have to buy new clothes or something like that. If you have a medical emergency, it will cover your medical costs, those types of things. So that's what global protection is. Now, it's up to you whether you get global protection or not. I did last time and I didn't use it. I have my own insurance. I have my own medical insurance. I don't know if my medical insurance covers overseas visits, but it's up to you whether you do the global protection or not. In terms of the airline, we never know what airline we're going to use. When we did our Paris trip, we used Aer Lingus, and I absolutely hated them. I hated them so much that I told EF, don't ever put us on an Aer Lingus flight again. So I can tell you what airline we're not going with, Aer Lingus, okay? Somebody else had a question. Thank you for asking that question. If you're older than 29, then basically they make you get a double room. They make you get a double room, but I don't want to say make. Everything is flexible, to be honest. So let's say, for example, you're going, your 2 nieces are going, and your cousin is going, and you're the only one who's over 29. They'll let all 4 of you all be in a quadruple room. Like, we can work out those details, but I'm just telling you what the default is. What the default is if you're 30 and up, then you automatically do a double room. Okay, somebody else has the question, are there male-female rooms? So this is what I'm going to say, okay? Typically, they put females with females, males with males, unless they have family rooms, okay? So let's say, for example, you and your fiance were going on the trip together. Then we would just request a family room for you all so that you could room together, and that would be a double, okay? Medical insurance from the US is usually taken, but you have to make sure the place you go to is a provider. So anyone who has insurance, call your insurance company, see what their policy is. if you were to travel to Italy or if you were to travel to Ghana. If your insurance has you covered, then I would say sign up for the trip without the global protection, because I mean, I'm not saying things can't go wrong, but if you're already covered because you have your own insurance, then why spend an extra $150 when you can use that money to buy you some nice little trinkets or go to a fancy restaurant while you're over there? All right, so let's talk about COVID really quickly. So obviously we're coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, okay? As of now, you do have to be vaccinated and have one booster to go on these trips. So I wanted to put that out there, and I have asked them to put that information on the website so people know that before they sign up. Will it stay that way? I don't think so, but as of right now, technically that's what it is. Now they do give medical and religious exemptions, okay? So if you really want to go, then, you know, your religion says you can't have the vaccine, okay? So we can work all of that out if we need to. Just if you want to go, we're going to find a way to get you there, all right? But I do think they probably will continue to do the testing. So when we went to Paris in May, they made us test within a certain amount of time, within like 72 hours of our flight before going over there, and it had to be PCR, blah, 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 blah test. And then coming back, we tested in Paris the day before our flight left. So I do anticipate that they'll probably have us continue to do testing, but I'm going to be honest, we don't know what the COVID rules are going to be like in June of 2023. But I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there that if you're not vaccinated, we may have to get a little creative, you know, about how we get you on this trip. All right. Are there any other questions I'm skipping? Okay, somebody said I asked about the male-female room because I'm sending my grandson and he'll be 18. So like I said, they do have family rooms. So if you want, just shoot me a private message so I can know your specific situation, so I can give you a more direct answer. But yes, they, you know, in certain situations, they absolutely do allow it. Okay, so things that the price does not cover, obviously, if you have to get a passport, that $4,000 does not cover that. Any airport baggage fees. So the airline that we used last time allowed us to do 2 check bags for free and then 2 carry-ons for free. So I don't anticipate anybody needing to bring that much stuff that they would exceed that. Once again, every airline is different, but until we know what airline we're taking, I can't give you any specifics on airport baggage fees yet. Lunches and snacks, that's on your own. Any personal spending money for the gift shop or whatever it is you want is on your own. They do encourage giving tips to your tour director at the very last dinner. We always collect money, you know, just as a thank you for the tour director just being so kind and gracious, and we give it to them. And then they do make us pay for our own COVID test coming back. I think it was like maybe $20, if that. It's not that much. All right, other questions. What happens if someone contracts COVID while on the trip? Okay, let me answer another question. What happens if somebody contracts COVID before going on the trip? What they would do is they would basically have you stay home, recover, and then they would put you on it wouldn't be with us, obviously, but they would put you on another trip, okay? Now, I don't think they would do a refund. If anything, they would do a credit. So let's say this. Let's say you paid your $4,000, you found out you had COVID right before the trip, you're so disappointed. So obviously you wouldn't go on that trip with us, but if there's an Italy trip that leaves that next month, you could get booked on that trip and just get to know new people, or they would let you transfer all the money from your Italy trip to maybe our Ghana trip that next summer. So you can transfer funds in that way. Now, if you contract COVID while on the trip, they absolutely are going to make you quarantine. They're probably going to make everybody test. And I think it would be on a case-by-case basis in terms of, well, I don't think you would be able to come back home. You wouldn't be able to come back home. So the company would work out where you would stay, how long you have to stay, and changing your flights and everything to get you back home once you are fully healed up. All right. Somebody said, are the tests returned to the US? If so, are we responsible for the test? Okay, I just answered that. And then are there certain shots needed to travel to Italy or Ghana? Ghana, the answer is yes. What those specific shots are, I'll put that information together in the future and send it out. I'll probably make videos about it on social media as well, just because I want to get the updated information from the company before I talk about that. All right, so what else do we have on this slide so I can get y'all to dinner? Okay, so these are just a few more pictures and activities that we're going to be doing. We're going to explore Florence. I'm really excited about that because when I think of Italy, now listen, last time I went to Italy, we did not go to Florence, and I was really disappointed because when I think of Italy, I think of the little rivers with the boats and the violin player and the romance and all of that. So I'm really excited to visit Florence. We're also going to attend a cheese making demonstration. I love cheese. Oh my goodness, all types of cheese. We're going to visit the Banca del Vino. Okay, that's wine. Okay, liquor. And then we're going to go to a local food tasting as well. So those are just some of the things that we do. Somebody said, what if you work for the airline? Can I book my own airfare? Like I said, we are all about flexibility, and I already know EF would not have a problem with that. I already know. So what we would do in that situation is we would, $95, lock in your price, and then just let me know that that's what the situation is so I can work with Bianca. That's our tour director. I will work with Bianca to have them adjust your price so that it doesn't include the airfare and all of that type of stuff. So you can go for a discounted rate. All right. We're going to visit the University of Bologna. So this is the first time that one of these trips is actually visiting a college or university. So just because I'm nosy, I'm curious to see what college is like in another country. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think there's an optional cooking class that you can take. It might be an extra 40, 50 bucks or something, but you can test your culinary skills by doing a cooking class. You can visit a cheese factory, and all of that type of stuff. So EF stands for Education First. They have like a K through 12 portion of the company, and they have a college/adult portion of the company. We're on the college/adult portion, which is why you have to be 16 and up to go on these trips with me. They mainly do that because a lot of these trips involve walking. And sometimes the younger kids are like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like walking and all of that type of stuff. So I'm not going to read all of this, but feel free to come back to this slide so you can get more information about the actual company. For those who are wondering about accreditation and how credible, this company is accredited by Accreditation International. They are accredited by MSA-CESS. They are accredited by Cognia. They are accredited by NEA-SNC, and they are accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. So, they accredited. All right, what safety measures can we expect? Listen, there may be 1 or 2 days where you have a little free time to explore the city on your own. Obviously, you have the option of going and taking a nap and resting, which is what most of us do because we're absolutely exhausted. But let's say you just do the stuff with the group. You're going to be with your tour director 24/7. I'll be there as well. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be in the hotel with you. I'll have my own room. But I know when we hear about people traveling, them having to deal with pickpockets and, just dangerous types of situations. We move in packs. We move as a group. So I've never personally experienced having any of those types of issues while on these trips. Now, obviously, when you go out on your own, then that comes with the risk of you possibly having issues. There is a 24/7 emergency number that all of you all are going to get. They're actually going to make you do their emergency training before our trip. But basically, the protocol is you would contact their emergency number, and every city that they have a trip to, they have an office in with actual employees who can be to you within 5 to 15 minutes. Okay. So if there is a health emergency, then somebody from the office will be there at the hospital with you. I will most likely go as well, or, we'll have several group leaders on the trip with us. It won't just be, well, it depends on how many people we have, but every 6 people, there will be a group leader for. So it'll be a 6-to-1 ratio. So it'll either be me or whatever group leader is in, kind of assigned to you will be at the hospital, with you and those types of things. They do have COVID protocols. I just told you the protocol right now is you have to have your 2 initial shots plus a booster in order to be considered eligible to travel with the company. And then they still do COVID testing right before the trip and at the end of the trip. Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip through this slide because you all can go through that in your own time. They do have a worry-free enrollment period of 30 days. Okay. They did not do this back in the day. Back in the day, if you paid your $95 and you changed your mind, oh, well, you ain't getting that $95 back. But what they're saying is for 30 days, you have the option of changing your mind and getting 100% of your money back. Okay. In the event that something comes up or you realize that you cannot go on the trip. Now, after that 30-day period, it gets a little more tricky. I do not think they give you the global protection fee back at all. But let's say anything you paid over that, then yes, they would give that back to you, or they'll give you a credit that you can use for future trips. Okay, so our trip is scheduled to leave around June 5th. Okay, there's some things that are in the works that I can't talk about right now. But let's say if it was a situation where I'm actually turning this into a real college course, where people could get credit towards graduation, I have to align it with the summer semester. So in my mind, I'm thinking 1 week of classes, week 2 and week 3, we're on the trip. Week 4, we come back and do the wrap up, do the final, whatever. And that's just for people who are students. For people who are just regular everyday citizens like me, you ain't got to worry about any of that. Just go on the trip and live your best life. Okay. But right now we are scheduled to leave around June 5th. That's important because my daughter's supposed to be graduating before the 5th. So if they try to move that date up, I'm gonna be like, nope, I cannot leave until at the earliest the 4th. So if you have any specific scheduling things that you want to make sure they don't push the date up or push the date back, let me know and I will make sure that we don't have those problems. When we went to Paris in May, one of the students, she had to graduate like literally 2 days after our trip. So I made sure that we would be back in time enough. And I'm glad we did it that way because we ended up having flight delays on the way back, but we got her home safely. She even had a whole day to rest before graduation. All right. So once again, all of this you all can look through in your own time. And I know some people are here to, this is the code for my specific trip. So if you're like, listen, I don't want to do all this internet stuff, just call EF and give them this code 252-325-8XN. Okay. Once again, the $100 discount ends the 30th of September. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Ghana trip. So all of the same information applies to the Ghana trip. The only difference is it's Africa. So it's way, way, way more expensive. Now, I almost said, this is too much and I'm not going to do it. But that is why I am putting this trip on the books 2 years in advance so that people have 2 years to make their payments instead of 1. So if you sign up by the end of September, I want to say it's a $300 discount for the Ghana trip. I hope I didn't just lie to you all. It's a $300 discount for the Ghana trip, and you can do your monthly payments at about $318 per month, okay, which is way more affordable than if we only had a year to do that. If you want to follow EF, this is their information. If you want to follow me, the easiest thing to do would be to go to professordashiell.com. And that not only has my bio, it also has the study abroad tab that has the trip information. And it also has my social media right there. So social media is a great way to keep in contact with me. Just send me a direct message and I am pretty much done. So we can open the floor for questions. If you have to go eat dinner, you are free to go. I hope you sign up. If you have questions, feel free to stay. And I'm going to leave the recording on just in case some of your questions can help people who are watching the recording. Thank you all so much. And it's nice to meet you. All right, somebody said, I need more on the Ghana trip agenda. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Let me show you right now. All right, let me move to this tab. And then let me go to my travel program and then Ghana. All right, so Ghana, we're scheduled to leave around June 3rd, 2024. And in terms of the itinerary, now listen, y'all know I'm gonna mess all these names up. So we're flying into Accra, then going to Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Kakum National Park. Okay. We're gonna fly overnight on day 1. Day 2, we're going to meet the tour director at the airport. We're going to have a dinner in Accra. And yes, that dinner will be covered in the cost of your trip. Day 3, we're going to take a guided tour of Accra with our experts. We'll see the W.E.B. Du Bois Center for Pan-African Culture. We're going to go to Independence Black Star Square. We're going to go to Kwame, okay, I can't say that, Memorial Park and Mausoleum. We're going to visit the National Center for Culture. We're going to visit the Jamestown community. So how about I do this? I'm going to put the link to this in the chat so you can have it, you know, it's kind of on demand. You can bookmark it. And then we'll continue taking a peek at everything else. So here is the link to the Ghana trip. All right. And then going back to the itinerary, day 4, we will be visiting Global Mamas, which is a fair trade organization run by women to support other local women financially, okay? We're going to travel to Kumasi. We're going to tour a sustainable cocoa farm, and we're going to enjoy dinner in Kumasi. Day 5 will still be there. We're going to do a local guide through the Ashanti craft villages. We'll get to see people selling their goods. I really need to get my coins together because I feel like I'm going to be buying everything. We're going to visit 2 traditional Ashanti villages and have dinner in the same city, Kumasi, that night. Day 6, we'll still be in Kumasi. We're going to the Manhai Palace Museum. I know I just butchered that. We're going to the market, and then we're traveling to the Cape Coast and having dinner there. Day 7, we're going to tour a castle, honey. Okay. We are going on a batik workshop. Oh, that's where they dye fabrics and stuff. That's cute. We're going to visit a local university, and we're going to have dinner there in Cape Coast. Then day 8, we're going to another castle. We're going to the Posuban Shrines and I'm not going to say that word, foundation. Oh, it's a school built on the pillars of inclusivity and sustainability. And we'll have dinner in Cape Coast that night. Day 9, we're going to Kakum National Park. Ooh, they have canopy walkways. I hope y'all are not scared of heights, okay? We're going to a distillery, and then we're going to have dinner in Cape Coast. And then day 10, we are traveling back to Accra. We're going to have dinner there. So that we can get back on the plane to go back home, okay? And I know I have people here from many different areas. Typically, yes, we get to meet the Ashanti people. Typically, we all fly out of the same airport. I'm in the DMV area, so we normally fly out of Reagan, but what EF said is if I have anybody who signs up for my trip and they're in, you know, New Mexico, or they're in Ohio, or they're in California, they'll just get you a flight from wherever you are, and you'll just meet us there at our destination. Okay. I hope I answered your question. Are there any other questions? And the Ghana trip covers all of those same things: round trip airfare, hotels every day, breakfast every day, 24/7 tour guide, entrance fees to all site, transportation costs while we're there, all of that. That was a good question. All right, somebody said, I feel like I want to go to Ghana instead of Italy. I know, it's a hard decision. What you could do is put $95 down on both and maybe make payments on one and then collect donations for the other, maybe. Oh my gosh, I forgot to announce there are scholarships. There are scholarships, and you don't have to be a college student. So let me give you that information right now. So EF college study scholarships. Okay, which one is it? All right, so these are their scholarships. They have merit scholarships, financial needs scholarships, and they have diversity and equity scholarships. So what you could do, oh, I wasn't even sharing the screen. Y'all can't even see. Here we go. Okay, so they have merit scholarships, financial needs scholarships, and diversity and equity scholarships. What you could do is put your $95 down or your $95 and your global protection down to secure your spot. Once you have secured your spot, then you can apply for the scholarships. And I can assist you with your scholarship application. If you need help writing your essay, all we got to do is just set up a Zoom one-on-one and I'll help you through your essay process. So let me put this in the chat. So I say if you're torn between the two, put $95 down on both trips, and then let's work on the fundraising piece and let's work on the scholarship piece. That's what I would say. Any other questions? I can't believe I forgot to tell everybody there were scholarships. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to turn the video off, but I'll still stick around just in case anybody wants to chat. Somebody says, can you let me know when you know what airline we are using? Okay, I can do it. Are you following me on social media? If so, I can post a video about it. But full disclosure, I'm not going to know until, let me see, the May trip, the Paris trip, we left in May, and I didn't know the airline until February. So I'm not going to know what airline they're using because, you know, they do all the pricing and, you know, all of that and buy it at the right time and all of that. So I'm probably not going to know until 2023. Is there a hold up with the airline? Like, is there an airline that you absolutely don't want to take?
No, not really, because I work for the airlines, and because we get our own discounts, we actually only pay the taxes to travel international.
Okay, got it.
So
I'm
then
gonna ask them that question. What if somebody works for an airline? How does that work?
Right, because then once I know which airline, then we have paperwork that we have to fill out through our managers. So they have to know, like, okay, an employee's traveling, they're going, and then they sign off on it because we have to.
How much time would you need in order to go?
I don't need a whole lot of time, but
I was gonna say we could at least give you 2 months notice.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. I got you.
And then as far as the scholarship, I'm already in college too. I don't go to school in PG County. I go to school in Howard County.
Okay.
So Howard County has a similar program also.
Okay.
With the so I know about the scholarship part of it. Yeah. So I guess like when I'm ready to do the scholarship part, I'll call you.
Okay.
And you know, yeah.
I should have given you contact information.
I do follow you on TikTok, so I'm always watching your vocabulary every day.
Yeah.
So I learn a new word every day.
Listen, TikTok is the biggest hater. They didn't change that algorithm, and I get like 300 views. And I'm like, I don't even care about being famous. I'm not here to be famous, but I need to get to my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
TikTok drives me crazy. All right. Okay, so that's my email address, and I will add that to the PowerPoint as well because why didn't I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice meeting y'all. Like I see y'all through the internet, and it's like, you know, those more people. That's family right there.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording. Those of you who are watching the recording, my email is stephanie.m.dashiell@gmail.com. That's STEPHANIE M for Michelle DASHIELL@gmail.com. Okay, so feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions.